Hi everyone, I'm Hannah, thanks for joining me. Today we're doing some morning yoga. It's a short and sweet sequence to help you start your day. So we're going to begin seated. So if you want to sit up on something, grab a cushion, a yoga block, some rolled up towels, anything at all that you have just to help you elevate your hips so that you can sit up comfortably. And as always, stack head over shoulders and shoulders over hips, allowing the spine to sit tall. Now you're welcome to close the eyes, or you can let the gaze just soften. Hands can rest anywhere at all that's comfortable. And we'll just begin by bringing our attention to the breath, the natural breath. So without changing your breath in any way, just spend a few moments observing what your breath is doing. And then take that same awareness and just check in with the body. Again, without moving or adjusting yourself, just take a quick scan through the body, just noticing, just acknowledging how things feel, what your posture is like. And then again, with that same focus and awareness, check in with the mind, just for a moment. How are you feeling this morning? How do you want to feel for the rest of your day? Once you've taken the time to just quickly check in with yourself, start to bring your awareness to your breath, maybe even bringing one hand onto the belly itself, and taking a slightly deeper inhale breath through the nose, and an exhale through the mouth, just letting go of anything that we don't need during our practice this morning. And taking another deep breath in through the nose, and this time a deep breath out through the nose. And then just allowing the breath to settle somewhat. And just seeing if we can take some comfortable rounds of breath in and out of the belly. So allowing the breath to perhaps slow down a little bit. Maybe the breath evens out. As we take these rounds of breath, can we also sit down a little bit more firmly through our sitting bones and then lengthen up through the crown of the head ever so slightly. So we feel this sense of length through the spine, letting the shoulders soften and pull away from the ears. Allowing our lower abdominal muscles to engage slightly so that we support our lower back as we sit up tall. Beautiful. Let's take one more breath or so, just as we are here in this moment. And then we'll lightly bring the palms of the hands together at the heart center into Anjali Mudra. This gesture symbolizes the perfect balance that we work towards in our practice of yoga. The balance of ourselves, breath, body, and mind. And then gently drawing the chin down towards the chest, bowing the head, letting the head hang heavy here just for a moment. And if you have the eyes closed, then maybe just gently blinking the eyes open in your own time, keeping the gaze down for a moment as you adjust. When you're ready to, you can bring the head back up into center. Releasing the hands, moving the hands onto the knees or the thighs, and we're going to begin by circling the torso and spine. So as you take an inhale breath, start to circle the chest forwards, like you're pushing the chest out in front of you. And as you breathe out, I want you to hollow the belly, sort of round out the upper back, draw the shoulders up to the ears. And we're doing this full circle movement. So as you inhale, breathing forward, spin the chest open, rotating around. Exhale, hollow the belly, tuck the chin, pull the shoulders up. Let's do that one more time in this direction. Inhaling, circling around. Exhaling, hollow the belly in. And let's just change that direction on your next inhale, just pushing back as you hollow through the opposite direction. And then as you inhale this time, the chest slides forwards. 2 more times, just to the speed of your breath. We're inhaling and exhaling as we make these full rotations, waking up the spine, slightly engaging the core and abdominal muscles. Beautiful, guys. As you finish the round that you're on, we're just going to slowly make our way back up. into center. No rush. Taking a moment as you arrive here just to re-ground down through the sitting bones, draw up through the crown of the head. Thinking about the belly button and the top of the pubic bone hugging in towards each other so we contract these lower abdominal muscles. You can also feel the pelvic floor muscles engage, pulling inwards and upwards. It will help you to keep that lower body area strong. Okay, let's take our right fingertips down onto the mat or palm of the hand. Take the left arm up and just take a side stretch for a moment, breathing in deeply, pressing down through both sitting bones, spinning the chest open. Beautiful. Come up through center. Just let the breath flow in and out at your own pace. Left fingertips or hand down onto the mat. Press down firmly through both sitting bones. Take that right arm up and over, spinning the chest open. Beautiful. Coming back up. Let's do that one more time to each side. So just with your own breath, let the breath flow in and out at a nice speed, calm, controlled speed, making sure that the breath is comfortable. Beautiful. Last time. Beautiful work, guys. As you bring yourself back up, let's slowly bring ourselves into our tabletop or our all fours positions. Just carefully unwinding from whatever seat, whatever pose you're in. If you're using any blocks or blankets to elevate the hips, just place them off to one side. And as you come into your tabletop, just take a moment to really ground down, lift the palms of the hands, wiggle the hips, and then spread the fingers wide. Press down through the base knuckles of the hands especially, and let the elbows soften just into a micro bend. Hug in those lower abdominal muscles. We're not letting our lower back collapse. We're contracting the pelvic floor and lower abdominal muscles to support our spine. And then just finding that idea of length through the spine once again as we spread our weight evenly between both hands and both lower legs. So even just being static here in our all fours, there should be a sense of mindfulness. You should need to pay attention. We're also paying attention to the breath, which is coming in and out through the nose. Bring the big toes together, widen the knees slightly if you'd like to, push the hips back towards the heels. Come into a child's pose for a moment. Maybe stretching the fingertips forwards, opening the heart and the head down to the ground. I'll invite you to start sliding your right hand in towards your right knee or chest, and you're going to turn your head to the side. You may even just let the left side of the head rest on the mat if that's comfortable, or if you prefer it can be slightly lifted. And I want you to press the palms of both hands into the mat. So we're just getting a nice bit of a spinal rotation here and a beautiful stretch, hopefully beautiful, through the left side of the upper body and arm. Okay, another breath or so here. And then just gently sliding that right hand back. We're going to switch sides. So keep that right hand engaged into the mat. Slide the left hand down to about the left chest of the left knee, and then press down evenly through both palms as you let that chest open. Breathing into the belly here. Beautiful work, guys. Slowly unravel. Come back into your child's pose. Maybe taking just one more breath here, seeing if the fingertips can reach a little bit further, and can you press the hips down towards the heels, really lengthening through the spine. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to come back up into that tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's take a few rounds through our cat and cow once we arrive here. So at your own pace, keeping that softness in the elbows. Breathing in, the belly softens, head looks forwards or up. Breathing out, we hug those abdominal muscles in, pressing down through the hands and lower legs, tucking the chin. So just take a few more rounds of this movement for the spine at your pace with your breath. Maybe the eyes close, maybe the gaze is soft. And ideally, I'd like you to see if you can let your breath guide you. So whatever the breath is doing, see if you can let your movements follow the breath. Beautiful, guys. So very slowly, just beginning to finish off the round that you're on. There's no rush. Take your time. We're going to meet back in that tabletop position with a neutral spine. So lengthen spine, lower abdominal muscles engaged. We're going to tuck the toes under when we're ready to, preparing to lift into our downward dog. Maybe taking the hands a tiny bit further forwards, really pressing down through those base knuckles, squeezing our center, and when we're ready, lifting the hips up towards the sky. And it might feel good to perhaps walk through the feet for a moment here, especially if the hamstrings are feeling tight, or maybe the lower back is feeling tight, or the chest.
Let the breath continue to flow in and out. As always, remembering if you want to take a rest at any time, you can always come back to your child's pose or your all fours. And you might find stillness in your downward dog if you feel ready to. Remembering that in your downward dog, you can be up on the balls of the feet. You don't have to have the feet flat. You may even have a slight bend in the knees, so you can really lift the sitting bones high. And what's more important is that we find that openness through the chest and that length through the spine rather than getting our feet flat. So find what works for you. Make sure you hug in your lower abdominal muscles. Belly button pulls towards top of the pubic bone. Beautiful. From wherever you are, take your time to begin walking your feet forwards towards your hands. Take as many steps as you like. Let's just meet in a forward fold for a moment, grounding down through all four corners of the feet. And then waiting for a breath in, let's bring the hands onto the shins and just find a flat back position. So we're extending the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, squeeze your center. Knees can stay bent, they can be straight if you prefer, but just find what works for you. We're focusing here on pulling the shoulders away from the ears, long spine. On your next breath out, when you get there, just soften, come back to that forward fold, let everything hang over. And then when you're ready to, pressing down through the feet, all four corners, try not to let the toes clench. Just begin to roll up through the spine, nice and gently. Breath flows in and out. As you come to stand, head comes last, roll the shoulders. Just bring the palms together at heart center. Take a moment here, maybe the eyes even closed, just to collect yourself. And check your alignment, try to stack head over shoulders. Shoulders over hips, hips over heels. Try not to clench the muscles in the bottom. Allow all four corners of the feet to continue to engage. Tailbone should feel heavy, like it's been drawn down towards the earth. Beautiful. So very slowly as you take your next breath in, I'm going to invite you to release the hands down by the side of the body. And then as you breathe out, just slide that right foot back. Take the arms up. Wiggle that back foot till you come into a comfortable version of your lunge, stretching the fingers tall. So check that your left knee is over your left toes. Press the right heel back. Draw the left knee and shin forwards. Tuck the tailbone so we're not arching through our lower back. Beautiful. As you take your next breath out, when you get there, just start to reach the fingertips forwards. Come all the way down to the ground. And then step that right foot forwards to the left, coming back into that forward fold. Breathe in when you're ready. Find that flat back position. Hands will come to shins. Breathe out, fold forward, softening down. Beautiful. Inhaling, rolling up through the spine. Try not to let the toes clench. Head comes up last. Let the breath flow in and out. Roll the shoulders. Bring the hands together at heart center. Pause for a breath or two. Find your alignment. Engage through the feet. Engage through the muscles in the legs so you can squeeze the thighs together and press the ground away, but just try not to clench the muscles in the bottom. Beautiful. As you take your next breath in, release the hands down by the side of the body. As you breathe out, slide the left foot back. Taking the arms up and over. Wiggle that back foot if you need to. Take your time. Take a couple of breaths here as you just sink into that lunge. If you need to adjust the feet and play around, but move mindfully, consciously. Try to make sure, again, we follow the breath. So we're really in tune with the breath here. Beautiful. As you take your next breath out, draw those arms down. So we're lengthening the spine, reaching forwards. Hands come down to the mat and then step that left foot forwards to the right, coming into that forward fold. Let everything soften. As you take your next breath in, find that flat back position once again, hands to shins. Breathing out, folding forward. Beautiful. This time, hands down to the mat. Just walk the feet back one at a time, nice and slowly. Come back into your downward dog shape once again. Whatever that shape is for you. Lengthening through the spine. See if you can press the ground away a little bit more through those base knuckles and lift the sitting bones high. When you feel ready to, let's wait for our next inhale breath to come forwards into a high plank. If you prefer, you can always drop the knees. So wherever you're working, keep head, shoulders, hips nice and high. Core muscles are engaged. And as you take your next breath out, let's come all the way down onto our fronts. So you can just come down in however works for you. Okay, don't over complicate it. Bring the hands outside the chest or shoulders. Bring the legs together as close as you can. Point the toes behind you. Press the tops of the feet into your mat. And then again, without clenching the muscles in the bottom, lift the head and shoulders, just coming into a low cobra. Make sure it doesn't feel like anything is pinching or compressing. Take a couple of breaths here, keep the back of the neck long. Beautiful. On your next breath out, soften all the way down, forehead to mat or ground, let the legs relax. And then tucking the toes under, contract your lower abdominal muscles, elbows behind you, press the hands into the mat, push back into your all fours. You may need to adjust the knees, maybe crawling forwards. Beautiful work, guys. Very slowly from here, let's take our right leg out, back behind us, keeping our center strong. And then slowly, if you feel like you've got enough stability, reach the left arm forwards for a moment. Now if this feels enough, just stay here for the next couple of breaths. If you want to go a little bit further, begin to bend that right foot, reaching the left arm behind. Maybe you grab hold of your foot or ankle, and you might not, you might just be reaching. If you do happen to be able to grab hold of your foot or ankle, you might use a little bit of resistance by pulling the foot with the hand and then pulling the thigh away. Maybe you just stretch out through that thigh muscle. Keeping the breath strong, pressing down for the right hand. Beautiful. Slowly releasing if you're grabbing hold. Let's come all the way back down into our all fours. Take a moment here, ground down, find your stability, find your breath. And then when you're ready, take that left leg out behind. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, extend the right arm forwards, maybe you stay here. Option 3, begin to bend that left foot and maybe reach the right arm behind. You can look wherever you want to look with the head, whatever helps you to balance here. You might just stay reaching. If you want to get a bit more of a stretch into that thigh, if it feels okay for your knee and your back and your body, you can begin to pull that leg up, pressing the foot into the hand, pulling the foot, finding the breath, keeping a bit of softness in that left elbow. And when you're ready to, very gently beginning to release, slowly making our way back into that all four shape. And from here, we'll bring the big toes together. Widen the knees if you like, come back into your child's pose. Take a full deep breath in and out here. And when you're ready to, just slowly roll up through the spine. As always, working with your breath, making even these transitions part of our practice and fluid. We're going to bring ourselves into a sitting position once again. And we're going to take the feet out, ideally, to the corners of the mat. Just for a moment, maybe you bolster your hips up on your rolled up towel or your block if you have one. Take a moment to find length through the spine. Engage the lower abdominal muscles. And just breathing into the hips, the groin here. It can be a very tight place to be for a lot of us. When you're ready to, slowly bring our left foot in. So use your hands to help. Bring the foot anywhere along the right thigh that's comfortable. If you find this knee sticks up an awful lot, if you have another rolled up towel, block or cushion, you're welcome to put something underneath this thigh or leg for support. So it's not just hanging around in space. And we're grounding down through the sitting bones, so keep that length in the spine. Let's walk our right fingertips down our right leg. Doesn't matter how far you get. Maybe you grab hold of that big toe, maybe you don't. You do what works best for you, but make sure you're pressing down evenly through both sitting bones. We're rolling the chest open, and as we open the chest, we're still hugging in these lower abdominal muscles. So option 1 is just stay here, maybe keep this left hand on the hip or on the thigh. Option 2, if you want to go a little bit further, you can stretch the arm up towards the sky, or you might even bring the arm overhead. Wherever you are, find your breath. Taking a few more moments here. Lengthening through the spine. Grounding down through the sitting bones. And if possible, keeping that right leg active, toes facing up towards the ceiling. All right, beautiful work, guys. Slowly, when you're ready, bringing that arm all the way up and over if it's overhead. Coming back through center. And we're going to take this left leg out once again. So use your hands to help you. Take a moment just to ground in center here. Find the length in the spine. And then use your hand, draw that right leg in. Bring it anywhere inside the left thigh. Again, please feel free to bolster up that right knee or thigh with anything that you may need. Press down through the sitting bones. This time the left hand goes down the left leg. And you may stop nice and high. Maybe find what works for you. Where can you breathe comfortably? Where does it feel as though you're doing something? So there's some sort of challenge in the posture that you're in. It's not so easy that you're just in it and you're not building strength and flexibility. but it's also not so challenging that you're totally overwhelmed by what's happening and where you are. Okay, see if you can find that middle ground where we're doing enough, but not too much. Okay, so finding the breath, lengthening through the spine, softening the shoulders, hugging the lower abdominal muscles in. Beautiful, guys. If you have that arm overhead, take your time. Slowly begin to lengthen up. Take the arms out. And then this time, we're going to bring the left leg in, bringing the soles of the feet together, just for a moment into butterfly pose. Sitting up tall. Maybe again, you close those eyes for a second. Just let the gaze soften. Let the shoulders relax, even if you're holding onto the ankles. And then really engaging your core muscles for a moment. Squeeze the backs of your legs together as if you've got something behind the backs of the knees that you're trying to squeeze in really tight. Check you can still breathe. And option 1 is take the hands forwards. Fingertips about in line with the shoulders or the chest to see if you can maintain the structure and alignment of your spine. So head, shoulders, hips are all in one line. We're squeezing the backs of the legs together. We're squeezing the pelvic floor muscles and the belly button towards the top of the pubic bone, and we're still breathing. If you want a little bit more intensity, take the arms up towards the sky. We're working towards bringing our biceps in line with ears, but if they don't quite get there, that's fine. Just take them as far back as you can without compromising your alignment. So engage through those core muscles. If you're feeling this in your lower back, there's a chance that you're not using your core muscles as much as we need to. So maybe you bring the arms down a little bit lower until you can feel yourself engage those core muscles more than your lower back muscles. Okay, last couple of breaths here. Beautiful work, guys. On your next breath out, if the arms are lifted, bring them all the way down. Beautiful. Use the hands to draw the legs together. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out if they need it. And then scoot yourself forwards on your mat so you can roll down onto your back. Knees coming into chest, and maybe just massage the lower back for a moment. It'll probably feel really nice. Any way at all that feels good. Rolling circles, back and forth. A little bit of clicking going on. It's completely normal. Happens to me almost every time I roll around on my back. Okay, beautiful, guys. So let's just take a little bit of a twist for a moment. So keep the knees just a comfortable distance from the chest. Open the arms out. If you don't have a lot of space, you can bend the elbows. And then think about trying to press your shoulder blades down into the ground. Okay, we're going to keep the shoulder blades feeling as heavy as possible. And then we're just going to tip the knees over to our right-hand side. So it doesn't matter if your left shoulder blade lifts somewhat off the ground. If that is what happens, that's what happens. Okay, don't worry. Your twist isn't wrong, okay? But see if you can think about being heavy through that left shoulder blade. So we work this idea of openness and expansion through the chest. And just check that the breath is still reaching the belly. Beautiful. After your next breath, slowly, knees into chest. We're just going to roll through center. And we're just going to tip those legs down to the left-hand side. So as we take the legs over to the side, noticing if we can continue to feel heavy through that right shoulder blade. And finding the breath in our center. You can take the legs all the way over so that the legs are comfortable. Even if that right shoulder lifts a little bit, that's okay. But just think about remaining as heavy as we can. Allowing the chest to open, breathing into the belly. We're going to finish this breath that we're on, and we'll slowly begin rolling our way back through center. Well done. Let's just take a moment to stretch out long through the body. So reach the arms overhead, extend the legs, and just take a moment to lengthen. Reach through the fingers, reach through the toes. Beautiful. And then hug the right knee in towards the chest. You can keep your left leg extended with the foot flex, or if you prefer, you can bend the leg in with the knee facing up towards the sky and the sole of the foot on the mat.
And keeping our spine long, so keep your tailbone pulling down towards your left heel. Let's flex our right foot, stretch our right leg up towards the sky. And if the legs don't straighten, don't worry about it, that's fine. Grab hold anywhere along the back of the leg that works for you. If your hamstrings and legs are feeling very happy and flexible, maybe you grab hold of your big toe. If you happen to have a strap or a belt, or even a scarf, or something that you want to wrap around the ball of your foot to hold on to make this a bit more accessible, then feel free. If you don't have any of those things, don't worry. Grab hold of the thigh, find what works for you. And we're breathing into the back of that right leg, and ideally we're thinking about pushing all four corners of the right foot up towards the sky as we press the back of the right hip into the ground. So dual motion happening through the leg. One more breath here. Beautiful. Hug that right knee into the chest. Extend the right leg, give it a little bit of a shake. And then either keeping the right leg extended, or of course you can bend it in, sole the foot flat. Left knee is going to hug in towards the chest. Give the leg a little bit of a squeeze. Keep your spine long. Pull the tailbone down towards your right heel this time. And when you're ready to, let's stretch that left leg up, flexing the foot as much as we can. Even if the knee is somewhat bent, try to keep the left foot flexed. And then pressing the back of the left hip into the ground as we think about pressing all four corners of the left foot up towards the sky. Breathing here. Great work, guys. Slowly, when you're ready to, start to draw that left knee in towards the chest. And again, extend the left leg. Give the leg a little bit of a shake or a wiggle, whatever it may need. And then extend both legs long. Take the arms overhead. Stretch long through the spine. Oh, feeling good, hey? All right, before we settle in for a few minutes of Shavasana, last posture to get us ready for the day. We're going to do fish pose. So what I'd like you to do is place your hands palms down by the side of your body, and then just lift the hips ever so slightly so you can slide the hands underneath your bottom. You're essentially going to sit back down on the tops of your hands, palms face down. And you're going to engage the palms of your hands into the ground along with your forearms and elbows, just like you would if you were doing something like a forearm plank. So really actively engaging through the lower arms. Walk the elbows in towards each other. So slide the elbows in so the chest begins to lift. Now remember to engage through the hands and arms, and you're going to lift up onto the back of the head slightly. And if this feels enough, you may just stay here. If it feels comfortable for you today and doesn't cause you any pain, then you may actually continue to press down to the forearms and actually slide up onto the very top, the crown of the head. So you end up stretching through the front of the throat. You end up looking upside down off the top end of your mat. And you don't have to do this if it doesn't feel comfortable. Now, if you are, especially if you are up on the top of the head, keep pressing down through the forearms so you're not dropping all the weight into the top of the head. The arms are doing a lot of the work for you. The head is just gently resting. Beautiful. Last breath here. Wherever you are. Allowing the heart to shine open. And gently, gently releasing the head from whatever position it's in, and then carefully removing the arms and hands out from underneath the back. You may like to just bring the hands behind the head, lift the head for a moment, and just check that you're lying in a straight line. Widen your feet out to about the bottom corners of your mat so the hip joints can relax. Give the hips a bit of a wiggle, and then lie the back of the head down. Either bringing the hands on the belly, or if you have the space, take the arms out by the side of the body, palms face upwards. Take the hands far enough out from the body that the shoulder joints can roll open and relax completely. And then let the breath just find its own natural rhythm once again. So we can let go of deepening the breath. Just observe the natural breath. Observe the body and how it feels without changing anything. So ideally we remain in stillness. Accepting whatever may be happening for us within the mind, acknowledging our thoughts without letting us get involved with them. Just existing, just being present in this moment within breath, body and mind, not needing to do anything else, be anywhere else. bringing your attention to the back of your body, just noticing the heaviest parts of the body as they connect with the ground. And very slowly you can let the toes and fingers stretch out and away from the body. You might curl in, maybe the ankles or wrists roll. If it feels nice, you may even slowly reach the arms overhead. And you might just stretch long through that body once again. And taking your time, and you're welcome to keep the eyes closed. Or just have a soft gaze. We're going to bend the knees in. And we're going to carefully roll onto one side. Maybe pausing for a breath on our side. Maybe just resting the head on the upper arm. And then slowly bringing ourselves up into any comfortable sitting position on your mat. We're just sitting for a moment to close our practice, but you do want to make sure that you can sit up tall and be comfortable. And you can let the hands rest anywhere at all as you align head over shoulders, over hips, slightly engaging those lower abdominal muscles to support our lower back. And if you'd like to, you're welcome to bring the palms together at heart center into that Anjali Mudra. Maybe setting an intention for the rest of your day, if you'd like to. And we'll finish our practice by taking one last breath together, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And if the eyes are closed, you can let them open in your own time whenever you're ready to. Namaste. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day and see you soon.